Hello and welcome to Therapy Express with Rosanna. Thank you so much for watching. This is Bits and Pieces of My Life and Its Lessons, Lesson 4. And I have to tell you, I am very excited about doing this video because it is about the power of the mind and the fact that our thoughts create our reality. And I'm going to give you 4 examples of how my thoughts and the focus that I had on these particular things created my amazing realities. It is going to be a fun video, and I will give you Exhibit A, B, C, and D so that you can see what happened, okay? Number 1 thing that happened was when I was in high school, I was a senior. It was 1975, and this movie came out, The Other Side of the Mountain. Well, I went to see the movie, and I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much that I went to see it 11 times. I had my husband at the time take pictures inside the movie theater. Shh, I don't do that anymore, but I did when I was 17 years old, 18 years old. And I loved the actress, Marilyn Hassett, who was in the movie. I just was obsessed with it. And, you know, I was 18 years old and I went to keep seeing the movie and I tried to see everything that she was in. I went to try to meet her at some event, but she wasn't there. And so I took pictures. I wrote scripts of the movie. I mean, I was crazy. That's the fact. But my thoughts all were about this movie, this actress, and everything else. Can't explain it, but that's the way it was. So I decided to write Marilyn Hassett a letter explaining how much I loved her and the movie. And I'm thinking, how on earth could I get her to write me back? So what I did is all the pictures that I have from the movies, I created an envelope of this, you know, all these shots from the movie. And then I sent her a letter just being her number 1 fan, but a nice fan. So what happened? Eventually, I received a letter back in the mail, and you're going to see this all on Exhibit A. I received a letter back, and it was the most amazing thing that had happened at that time. Oh my God. Marilyn Hassett, my favorite actress ever, wrote me a letter. But it was the focus. I thought about it, I wrote about it, and it happened. So take a look at Exhibit A. All right, I'm going to tell you about the next thought that created the next reality. And this had something to do with a little piece I'm going to play right now, but I'm only going to play a snippet, okay? If you want to hear more of it, you can go to the description and you'll see the link there. But listen to this. All right. All right. So years ago, I was on the computer. This was years ago, and I heard this piece. It was such a haunting melody. It moved me. I felt this piece in my soul, and I kept listening to it over and over again. It's called Fountain in Paris, and it's by Jo Davidson, who is amazing. Go check her out. She's a singer, plays the piano just unbelievably. And so I decided, after listening to this piece a million times, because it was always in my mind, that I would try to contact this person. And I wrote her an email. Sure enough, a few weeks passed by and she writes me back. Eventually, we began a correspondence. Me with this person who played the piano, who was a pianist, and who I actually couldn't stop listening to this piece. Next thing I know, she's at my house doing a house concert and playing My Baby Grand. I was in paradise. It was one of the most amazing things that had happened to me. But what happened there? I heard a piece, I thought about it, I continually continued to give it energy. I wrote her, she wrote me back, and the energy just created more and more momentum. And eventually here she was in my house playing the piano. You can't even imagine what that was like. That's Exhibit B. Take a look, okay? All right, you ready for the next one? And this is one of my favorites. Richard Hatch. And I'm not talking about the Richard Hatch from that reality show, Survivor. I'm not talking about that Richard Hatch. I'm talking about the Richard Hatch. The Richard Hatch that was on All My Children, Streets of San Francisco, Battlestar Galactica, and on and on. Ever since I was a young woman, I would watch All My Children, and I was literally in love with Richard Hatch. In love with the person, not necessarily in love with him as a man, but just there was an energy I got from him that I was just mesmerized by. And I followed him on all the things that he did. One day I happened to notice that he was doing a seminar, spirituality seminar, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, could that be why I'm so drawn to this person? He was a very spiritual, kind human being. So I went to his seminar and I got to meet him. And it was like, wow, oh my God, I can't believe I just met Richard Hatch in person, and he was just as nice and as wonderful as I ever imagined. But that's not where the story ends. Months pass by and I hear that he does another seminar, and this is for groups and couples. So I get my husband to go, and we go to the seminar, and you're going to get to see that on Exhibit C. It was amazing. It was one of the best weekends of my life, and he was just as incredible as he always was. I learned so much, but that's not all. Then I ended up at his house for a Christmas party. My husband and I at his house. Can you believe Richard Hatch, All My Children, Battlestar Galactica? I was at his house. I was just beyond excited. But that's not all. After that, he invited my husband and I to be on his radio station on a show. Oh my God, how does that happen? It happened because it was in my mind. I created it. That was my reality. Richard Hatch is great. Richard Hatch, this and this and this. And the momentum grew until eventually I was at his house, I was at his radio station, and I even actually talked to him on the phone and even gave him some advice. It was amazing. Watch Exhibit C. Take a look. And the last one, I could go on, but I have to stop. This video cannot go on forever. The last one is about my husband. When I was a little kid, I loved gymnastics. Seriously, I wanted to be like a pretzel. I would watch every gymnastics show, and I wanted to marry a gymnast. But, you know, that was my little dream in my head. But I didn't know that the universe was giving energy to my thoughts, and my thoughts kept percolating. Because why? Your thoughts create your reality. So eventually, I met my husband, Joe, at a soccer field, and we're talking first day, and he says, oh, I used to be a gymnast for 12 years. And I'm like, did I just hear right that he used to be a gymnast? He was not only cute, but he used to be a gymnast and did some tumbling runs, kind of peacocking, but that was okay. And well, the rest is history. We did get married, and we've been married for almost 33 years. And see Exhibit D. he was on the movie YMCA by the Village People, and he did some tumbling runs in there. So I'll put all the links at the end on the description so you can check this out. So take a look at that. Now, let me just say a word of caution here. Your thoughts create your reality, and all these realities that I've created are very positive because they were positive thoughts. But if you have negative thoughts, you're going to create a negative reality. So caution. Pay attention to what you're thinking, what you're creating. What are you giving energy to? Is it positive or is it negative? If it's negative, stop it right away. Get rid of it. You don't want anything in your mind that's going to be negative and creating bad stuff. Start thinking positive things. It really, really works. All right, you guys, I hope you have fun with this video. I did, and I hope you enjoy the pictures, all the exhibits. And if you love this channel, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and look for me next week. Until then, make every moment count. Bye.